Hello everyone, thanks very much for joining. I will give us another 3 minutes just to make sure anyone else who may want to join this webinar today will be there. Bear with me one moment, please.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, I think we're going to begin now. If you could please make sure that the settings are so you can see my screen, that would be great. A few things before we totally begin is there should be a question bar on the right-hand side for you to have a look at, and this question bar is where you can type in questions throughout. I should be able to give a couple answers before we get to the end, and anything that we may not get to, I will make sure that gets answered by the appropriate admissions counselor here at SIT Study Abroad. So thanks very much everyone for joining us today. You can have a mixture of following my slides and or following along on the internet as we go. I have a little pointer here that I'll be doing different pointing out different sections. So my name is Ian Hefele. I'm the admissions counselor here for Africa and the Middle East. And some of you may have worked with me or heard from me, but we'll keep going. And let me know by typing everything in whether or not you have questions. So now, if you go to www.sit.edu for the School for International Training, you'll see here on the left-hand side you can choose SIT Study Abroad. That's where you'll want to go to apply for your program. Now, as we move on to the next page, this is the SIT Study Abroad landing page. You'll always want to check these three boxes here, as they have some important they change, and they have some important announcements as well. When you're prospective students, this tab here will be your best friend because almost all the information and questions that you can have are answered here. And when you're admitted into the program, if you pass the admissions panel, then the Admitted Students tab is the best place for you to look. Before you email, before you call, have a look at the Admitted Students tab because that will have many answers to questions that you didn't even know you had. So, how many people have started their application already? Just type into the answers, short answers questions if you have started your application. If you haven't, you want to come down to the apply now here. Thank you, Julia, for doing that. She hasn't. Andrea has. And let's see if anyone else has. We'll start. We've got Kyle has started his application already, and we'll keep going. I'll keep an eye on that as we go. But if you click Apply Now over here on the right-hand side, it will bring you to the next page. I see there's a bit of a delay in my screen to your screen. So let's try. There we go. Still a bit of a delay, so I'll make sure I keep an eye on everything. So if you apply now for the first time, you want to create an account, give us your first name, last name, email. It's very important that your email, that you have your email set where it can accept emails from @sit.edu or @worldlearning.org, because we communicate 95% of the time over email. And if you miss something, you may miss an application deadline, a scholarship deadline, or even worse, a visa deadline. And there's nothing that SIT Study Abroad can do if you don't apply for a visa on time. So if you've already started, you'll be going through the Continue My Application section here, which brings you to the landing page of your online portal. You can get started or go with your personal information over here. Now, it's very important that you have your personal information in there so we know who we're talking to when you want to study abroad and who to contact should anything happen while you're studying overseas, either here at home or in your host country. Now you'll see my colleague Vanessa Doyle, who is the admissions counselor for SIT programs in Latin America, has started an application here where you can put all the information that you need. And it's important that you put in your current mailing address and also your permanent mailing address, because we need to know where to send your transcript after you're done. You get a transcript from the School for International Training, which is an accredited study abroad provider, accredited through the School for International Training, which is accredited by the same organization that gives Yale and Harvard their accreditation. So next page here, My Applications is where you will see your applications for spring of 2016 or whatever term you're looking to study abroad. Can you just go and put in your term when you're looking to study abroad in the questions field? So that way I know I can give you some deadline information when you go further down. So another important thing to remember is that our hyperlinks are orange here. So anytime you see orange text, that means that you can click through. I see Julia is studying in fall 2016, which is good. Julia, fall 2016 will be opening next week, so make sure fall 2016. So that's very good. You guys are right on schedule. Fall 2016 will be opening on December 15th, so you'll make sure, especially for the IHP programs, that you have everything ready to submit right then, because the IHP programs tend to fill very fast. Next, you have the applicant name here. This is your study abroad status check application portal. As you finish sections of the application, it will check off what you have completed and what is still left over. And then the academic reference, the approval of participation, and the official transcript, you'll see right here what their status is. Now, please be aware when things get turned into us here at SIT Study Abroad. We are a smaller office, so it may take 2 or 3 days after you have applied for things to show up as received or completed on your portal. You don't need to call right after you've submitted it, because it will say incomplete application after you've submitted it. You'll see here that if you have trouble with filling things out online, you can download a PDF of the reference form and fill out the top section and send it to your reference writer to complete. As we move along, things will be checked off, and I'll take you through step by step. Please remember also that on the right-hand side of the screen over here, you can write your questions for me throughout, and I'll make sure that I answer them. Now you want to select the program of World Learning. World Learning is our parent organization, which encompasses the Experiment in International Living, SIT Study Abroad, which is us, and SIT Graduate Institute. Now, you want to make sure you're applying for SIT Study Abroad because you're all in the undergraduate level. The other two are high school and graduate level. The current college and university information. This is important for us to know because we need to make sure that your school approves this for credit transfer or financial aid transfer. It's always very important to talk to your school before you talk to us. And some of your schools deadlines may have already passed, so please just make sure you maintain contact with us throughout the application process and with your school. Now, as we move along, program choice, if you want to be considered for 2 applications or 2 programs, please do not submit 2 applications. The system won't allow you, and you'll hit all sorts of errors, which just will muck things up for a while. And this is where you put in your application for first choice and second choice. You'll also want to make sure you check on the enrollment statuses because, as I said, certain programs do fill faster than others. On the next page, here's some important application information. Remember, we're on rolling admissions, so that means we are beginning next Tuesday, we're accepting students for fall 2016 already, and we will continue accepting students clear up until the spring of 2016. Admissions criteria, and you'll also want to check with your school in regards to what criteria they may have for you studying abroad. But the admissions criteria we have here is that we welcome applications from undergraduate students who are in good academic standing, have completed 2 semesters of academic coursework, and have maintained at least a 2.5 GPA. Now, that being said, we are an experiential learning institution, which means we really look at the student holistically. If you do not meet any of those criteria, you'll first want to check with your school to see if they can make exceptions on their end, and then talk to your academic admissions counselor here at SIT Study Abroad. The application components are below. And I think Andrea here has the question of, are we allowed to send in our application first and then send in our recommendation letters, or do they all have to be submitted at the same time? What you need to do is you need to request that all, but as soon as you're finished, Andrea, with your part of the application, which we'll go through here, you can press submit. And then it'll sit as incomplete until we get the reference letter. Speaking of reference letters, Jessica Bennett has a question of, can my reference writer be from a former institution? Jessica, as long as you received a letter grade from whoever writes your reference, we can accept it. It can't be an advisor, it can't be a sports coach, it has to be someone who gave you a letter grade and can speak to your academic performance. Please let me know if either of those questions was not answered to its entirety, and let's move on to the next slide. Official transcripts are your responsibility to send to us because we work with schools all over the country. We have no way of speaking with every registrar to send official transcripts our way. So make sure you request that, and you can mail them into us, you can fax them into us, or as we prefer, you can email them into us to applications@sit.edu or studyabroad@sit.edu. Now, after all of this has come in, and should you be offered admission to the program, you then have 2 weeks. Before we jump there, offers of admission are generally made within 3 weeks. You then have 2 weeks to get back a list of materials to us and a $400 deposit and visa materials back to us within that time to confirm your spot on the program. Now, scholarships, grants, and financial aid. SIT awards over $1 million in scholarships every year. Also, it's on a need base and rolling basis. So you want to make sure that you apply sooner rather than later. We have no separate application for financial aid. It is part of the application to the program, and you have to be reviewed and admitted to the program before you are reviewed for financial aid. So there's no way of your admissions counselor telling you before your admission to the program how much financial aid you would be eligible for. During the course of I will get back to that. Let's read this part of the page first. So, important on this part is a passport. If you do not have a valid passport, please apply for one now. The passport applications tend to spike around the holiday season, so you want to make sure you're ahead of the curve and there are no delays with government shutdowns or passports lost in the mail. Once you get the passport, please sign it immediately, because if a passport is not signed, it is not valid and we cannot accept it. And then when you send us a passport copy, it needs to be in color with a clear view of your picture, the passport number, and your signature. Another important thing here is if you have not had a medical appointment for a physical within the last year, actually within 12 calendar months of the start date of your program, so it would have to be from fall 2015 to fall 2016. Please make an appointment now, and it is important to know that the medical form for SIT study abroad is a very important piece of your application, and you do all have to be medically cleared before you can be accepted onto the program. Now, the medical portion, the medical form is divided into 3 different sections. The first section takes about 3 minutes to fill out online, and from there, they ask you for, it's very much like that new patient form that you fill out by hand at a doctor's on the clipboard. And then they'll ask you for the date of when your appointment is for your doctor. As I said before, it's very important to note that we communicate primarily by email, so make sure your spam filter is able to receive messages from @sit.edu and @worldlearning.org. The main email address is right here. The main phone number is right here. You can always call or email there, and it will get to one of us here. Now you click on I have read the instructions, proceed with the application. The first part of the application is your short answer and essays. First short answer is briefly describe your family and home community. Tell us what your home community is like. We want to know where you come from. As I mentioned earlier, we're experiential learning, so that means that we really like looking and knowing about the entire student and not just their grade point average and whether they got all A's. So your home community can be your school, it can be where you spent the last couple of years, it can be a different community. It doesn't have to be exactly where you lived most of your life. It has to be where you consider home. The statement of interest essay, this is about 300 words max. It can be less, but we want to know why you are looking to study abroad on this SIT program and why you believe you fit on this program. On the next page, it gets into, I hope it catches up on your side, yes. On the next page, it gets into the capstone. This is what really sets SIT study abroad apart from other study abroad organizations. The last 3 to 5 weeks of your program, you will be spending The last 3 to 5 weeks on your program, you will be spending conducting undergraduate field-based research. Now, it's important to know that it is a culmination work of about a 20 to 40 page paper and an oral presentation. The topic should be relevant to the theme of the program and host country. You begin working on it and developing it in hand with your study abroad advisor in country. The academic director will work on it with you to develop it and make sure it is safe, secure, in line with the Code of Ethics, and able to pass the institutional review board, and academically relevant. So there's not going to be any studying surfing habits off the coast of South Africa. Anyway, moving to the next page. Here is a proposal that has been written up. And as you can see, it's not a senior thesis. We understand that things may happen between when you apply to the program and when you actually get to the program. Things may happen. Things may happen that totally change your mind. You may discover something in South Africa or IHP where you didn't know existed before you got there. So it's very good for you to try and keep it broad, but let us know what direction you want to go. It's also important that you discuss this with your admissions counselor, because in certain countries there are red line topics or taboo topics that we can't do. Like in Morocco and Jordan, for example, we can't really allow research into the royal family of either country because they are held in high esteem by the local population, and a foreign student coming in and doing undergraduate research in regards to that is not viewed very favorably. And we're in the business of cultural exchange, we're a cultural exchange organization and not in a political change organization. So here we touch upon some language ability, and I just do want to let you know that we're about halfway through the presentation right now. I did notice another question from Julia come in, so I will save that to the end. The language ability, do not freak out if you don't have any language ability unless you're trying to apply for certain programs where the coursework is taught in that language, which is a lot of Latin America. But you may want to just check in with your admissions counselor in regards to that. And if you have more than one language besides English or whatever your native language may be, you can add additional languages right here. The homestay letter. This homestay letter is for programs with a language requirement. It's mainly Latin America right now. So this stay letter, though, please upload it as a PDF. This homestay letter will come as part of the confirmation materials for programs that do not have a language requirement. If it has a language requirement, it has to be written in that language. If there is no language requirement, you can write it in English. That being said, I know for Morocco, Tunisia, and Jordan, it can be written. Most students write it in English, but other students may also write it in Arabic or French. It is entirely your choice. It does have to be uploaded as a PDF, and it does have to be uploaded with a picture of you in it, otherwise it will get rejected. It's also important to realize that when uploading anything to SIT Study Abroad, we have a file size limit of 5 megabytes. So if you're getting a rejection notice from our system, that means it is over 5 megabytes, and your application, your admissions counselor here in Brattleboro won't be able to upload it either. I'm going to leave this just for a second for you to see how Vanessa put together a Spanish language homestay letter for her program that she's applying to. So I'm going to reiterate, it doesn't have to be in the host country language unless you have a language prerequisite. And this shows you just a little bit of how to format it in uploading it. The next section is the letter of reference. This is where you need to get a letter of reference from a person who has given you a letter grade. It will need the first name, last name, who they are in relation to you, and their email. And then you need to let us know whether or not you want to waive your right to read that letter. Now, once you fill this all out, please, please, please make sure you click submit. If you don't click submit, they won't get the email request from us. Okay? Now, on the next page, you have the approval of participation. This drop-down menu should be pre-populated in regards to who you have to choose from your study abroad office to approve your participation in our program. If we don't get an approval of participation from your school, you need to talk to your admissions counselor. 95% of the time, this will be pre-populated with who you need to choose. So choose that person and click send request. Again, if you don't click send request, they will not get the request from us. All this is done electronically, so you don't have to worry about that otherwise. The student disclosure form, these are a series of questions in regards to your academic and behavioral standing at school and whether or not you've been on probation. Now, this is where your transcript will be sent after completing an SIT program. This is where we send your transcript. Your transcript usually comes out 2 to 4 weeks after completion of your program, and you can call the 800 number at the end and let us know if you have, or contact the registrar directly in case you have not gotten the transcript from us, but you should get it on time. This is important up here. I am interested in applying for SIT scholarships. If you don't check this box, we won't think you're requiring SIT or requiring information about SIT scholarships. Now, you'll look at SIT scholarships at studyabroad.sit.edu/scholarships. That gives you all the information you may need about it. Additional considerations here, if you're an SEO scholar, a Pell Grant recipient, or a veteran of the U.S. military, please check that off here. And if you are one of these three, we waive your application fee. If you have a coupon code that was given to you by one of our alumni at a fair or one of our field staff at a study abroad fair, this is where you would want to put it in. Now, also, at the end, you sign and date it here, and you click Proceed to Next Page to submit your application. If you don't press this and get to the next page, you won't submit your application. If you're routed to this page, you'll need to pay the $50 application fee. It's best paid by credit card over the internet. And then when you have all this filled out and click submit, it'll bring you to the incomplete application stage. As you'll see, I'm still waiting for my academic reference and my official transcript, but everything else is checked off. This is the incomplete application. So this incomplete application will stay like that until I get those two. I see some good references or good questions coming in, and please be aware I will answer those questions as soon as I get to the end. We only have a couple more slides to go. The incomplete application stage will stay there until, as I said, those two sections are filled in. Just a brief timeline. Most of you are probably at new or started right now. And then as you move along, the incomplete means you've you've submitted your application and we're waiting for all the pieces to arrive here. The complete application is when all the pieces have arrived and you are in line to be reviewed by the application's admission committee. Now, offered admissions is when you have 2 weeks to turn in your confirmation materials, and confirmed is when you have confirmed with us that everything is done. These are some important dates for you in regards to the programs. If the program dates look different for you, it has to be because of visa closing dates. Now, as we get to questions, I'm going to go to the next slide and leave up the contact information for you so you can write down the contact details of your application. Now, how to contact us. As I said, I'm Ian Hefele. I'm Middle East and Africa, and other programs are up there. We do have one more admissions coordinator here that is starting now, and her information will be up here shortly. Her name is Kira Hughes. So now, starting from the top, I have something from Julia. Julia, how does the statement of interest essay work if you want to apply for more than one program? Julia, you'll look at the section that says first choice program and second choice program. So what you're effectively doing is you're applying for one application for two programs. You will not open two applications for two programs. I hope that makes sense for you, Julia. Please let me know if it has not. I'm just moving through to the next one. Candace asks, the program I want to apply for does not start until fall 2016. However, my recommendation letter has already been sent to my professor. Will this pose an issue? No, it will not. You will just have the recommendation letter sent back and we'll hold on to it until the application period for fall 2016 opens. Kira Fox asks, for fall 2016, should we be requesting letters of recommendation now, or should we wait until the application opens on December 15th? Now, Kira, I would request the letters of recommendation now, and on December 15th, I mean, you can already work on your letters and your applications now. December 15th is when you can submit them to us. Now, Andrea asks, what if we only receive a Pell Grant for 1 year? Do we still qualify? Andrea, in order to get the Pell Grant match from SIT Study Abroad, you have to currently be receiving a Pell Grant from your home institution. If there's no Pell Grant from your home institution, then there's no Pell Grant match from SIT. Jessica Bennett, I'm an undocumented student with DACA status. Am I still qualified for scholarships? My understanding of that, Jessica, but you'll want to contact studyabroad.scholarships@sit.edu. Again, that's studyabroad.scholarships@sit.edu. That is, you will be able to apply for scholarships from SIT Study Abroad, but I don't believe you have access to the FAFSA. So I would contact studyabroad.scholarships at sit.edu and ask for the foreign student paperwork that needs to be filled out. Next, from Kira, how quickly do programs typically fill? If it takes my recommender a few weeks to submit his reference, will it hurt my chances of being accepted to a program before it fills? Kira, I would request the reference now, depending on what program you're asking, and I would request the reference now and make sure you get it in as soon as possible. Make sure you submit your parts of the application now. As long as you're at the incomplete status, depending on the program, you'll be on the radar, and that way we won't have um, issues for most programs. Sarah Zayed is asking, will the homestay letter still be required if I'm staying with family? How would that work? Sarah, I encourage you to contact your admissions counselor because there is a special procedure that needs to happen if you wish to stay with your own extended family, and that is not always able to happen. So please call or email your admissions counselor, and I have a feeling I will be talking to you soon. Now, do you then want to address the differing reasons why you may want to be in each program separately or jointly in the 300-word essay? Julia, just write the 300-word essay for your first choice program, and if it needs to be applied to your second choice program, your admissions counselor will let you know. Now, my last question I have now is Candace. Candace says, I graduate in May. How can I still take advantage of this opportunity? Candace, we do accept graduating seniors into our summer programs. You do need to know that since you will be outside of your federal student aid for your undergraduate program, you'll then want to apply for SIT scholarships, and you will not be receiving any financial aid from your school to transfer over to SIT. Well, please let me know if there are any other questions. I'll wait a minute just to see if anything else comes in. It appears nothing else is coming in, so I want to thank you all for taking much time out of your day today, and I hope to see your application soon. Please feel free to email any of us if you have questions, and we'll be in touch. Have a good day.